Airports and airplanes are not really known as being some of the most comfortable experiences. Going through TSA, having almost no legroom unless you're lucky enough to sit in first class, it's not great. But you know what? It doesn't have to be. There's definitely ways that we can make this experience a lot better. Hi, my name is Emma. I've been to over 23 countries, which means I've been to the airport a lot and I've been on a lot of airplanes. Today I want to share with you my top tips, tricks, and recommendations to make the airport and being on the airplane a much more pleasurable experience. So go ahead and getting right into it. Number one is you should arrive to the airport 2 to 3 hours before your flight. The biggest thing that you want to take into consideration is that you do not know how long those lines are going to be. Even if you have TSA pre-check, which I highly recommend if you fly in and out of the United States a lot, those lines can be decently long. You also want to keep in mind your airplane actually boards 30 to 45 minutes before the flight actually leaves. If you have a 4 o'clock flight, your plane is boarding at 3:15, 3:30. It's not boarding at 4. So you want to make sure you're at your gate through security and have everything done before you get there, because that airplane will leave you, and that is one of the worst experiences. Fortunately, I've never missed a flight, but I know people who have, and it sucks, and you just don't want to have to deal with going through customer service and getting rescheduled because you didn't plan properly. Personally, I have almost missed a flight. I went through the regular TSA line before I had pre-check, and I made it to my gate as they were boarding because I cut it a little too close. So don't do that. Number two is going to be to bring an empty water bottle. One of the worst things is you get to the airport and you realize you're really thirsty and you spend $4, $5, $6, $7 on a bottle of water. Water is so cheap. The markup on water is honestly disgusting. Bring an empty water bottle instead. There are water fountains, and a lot of airports now specifically have water bottle refilling stations within their water fountains. Just use that, because you know you can't bring liquids through TSA, but they can't stop you from bringing an empty water bottle that you can then fill by yourself once you get through security, and then you're good to go, and then you save money and you don't have to pay for water. Number three is going to be to pack your own snacks. And now, as I said, you can't bring any liquids, but if you want to pack yourself a sandwich, cookies, crackers, things like that, these are totally acceptable. There's no law, as far as I'm aware, that they can't prevent you from bringing in your own food to the airport. Save yourself $10, $15, $20, $25 and pack yourself some snacks for the plane instead of the things that you can get at, you know, the Hudson News Station or the different little convenience stores that you can go to after you get through security. Number four is going to be bring over-the-ear headphones. I specifically say over-the-ear because they are going to be the most comfortable, in my opinion. On-ear headphones pushes down your ears and it starts to make the cartilage and everything very sore, and especially on those longer haul flights, it's just much more comfortable when your ear is surrounded rather than being pressed down. And especially the ones where you can plug it straight into the system, that is going to be the best. Or now have these fun little transmitters that if you have Bluetooth headphones, that you can plug that in, connect to the transmitter, and then you can still watch your videos. I will link that in the description below if you're interested. It's a pretty cool little gadget. That's gonna be the most comfortable way for you to watch your movies, TV shows, and they do give out free headphones, as you're aware, on most airplanes, but they suck. They're so bad. They're not comfortable, and a lot of the time, one of them doesn't work. That's just a no-go for me, Charlie Brown. It's no good. So number five is going to be to download your airline's app before you get on the plane. A lot of airlines these days do offer free in-flight texting, messaging, things like that. Usually it's gonna be iMessage, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, something like that, so that you can keep contact with your contacts on the ground. So that's pretty cool, but the thing is, usually you have to have the airline's app downloaded to go through like all the different portals to be able to access that feature. So make sure that no matter who you're flying, have their app downloaded so that you can access that if it's available. It's also just really good in general because typically if you connect to their Wi-Fi, you still have free access to their app, so you can see your flight path and all the different kinds of features and things that you would like. And if you do want to buy Wi-Fi on your flight, if that is what you so choose to do, you still need the app to be able to do that. So just make sure that you have that downloaded before you get on the plane, because once those doors shut, signal is terrible. Good luck on that. Number six, for iPhone users, I'm sorry Android, I don't know how this works. I haven't had an Android, I think, since 2009. Back to talking about the airline's applications, you're usually able to add your boarding pass onto your Apple Wallet. Pretty sure this is standard within most these days, which makes it very easy to board the plane, show to the TSA agents, and all of that good stuff. So highly recommend having a digital copy of your boarding pass on your phone for the most convenience. experience. Number 7, now I know I just said have a digital copy of your boarding pass, but I actually also recommend getting that paper copy anyway. Why? Because technology fails. You do not know what could happen. Your phone could spontaneously crash, your battery could randomly die, something could malfunction, and you never know. And what you don't want is to be through security without a copy of your boarding pass. Now, I believe you can go up to customer service and have them print off a new copy for you. This is not something I've personally ever had to go through, but I would just, once you get to the airport and you do your little check-in and whatnot, if you haven't already, then I would probably just print off a paper copy anyway. Technology fails, and we don't know when it's going to usually fail, and when it does, it sucks, and it's not worth it. Really, it's more of like a backup measure than anything, and if you don't wind up needing it, cool. Throw it in the recycling when you're done. Number 8, check in online. Please, check in for your flight opens 24 hours before your departure time. Just go online or go onto the application. A lot of apps will actually send you a notification, or you'll get it into your email that it's time to check into your flight. It makes the process when you get to the airport just a lot easier and a lot smoother. Then you can prepay for bags and things like that if you need. Fun fact, with a lot of airlines, military members, if you're active duty, National Guard, things like that, do not prepay for your luggage. A lot of airlines will actually offer free checked bags once you get to the airport. Double check the policy of the specific airline you're flying though. That could save you some money as well. But definitely check in online before you get to the airport. It will just save you a lot of hassle. That is what I do every time. And just to help support my point, when I was flying back from Germany in 2012, I was very young, very new to the whole, and it was actually the first time I had traveled internationally besides North America. And I didn't know you had to check into your flight online. And this was even back in 2012. I almost didn't get a seat on the plane. They were going to literally give my seat away to someone else, and it was this whole thing. Honestly, I don't think I would have been upset spending one more day in Germany, but it was a very stressful few hours until they're like, okay, here's your seat, you're good. So check in online, just do it. Number 9 is going to be to make your luggage look unique. I'm primarily talking about your checked bag, but you can definitely do this for your carry-on as well. Luggage looks so similar to one another. I don't know how often that I have been waiting for my checked bag, and there's so many that look like my bag. So what I've started to do, and what I recommend for you, is you can either get a luggage that looks really funky and unique, luggage cover, luggage straps. Luggage straps are great because there's so many varieties of them that you can find one that's probably going to be very unique to you. Or you can throw stickers on your luggage, just something to make it, you know, like that is mine. It would really ruin your trip if you accidentally picked up someone else's bag, or they accidentally picked up yours because you have the same suitcase, or they just look so similar. It would just ruin it if someone else had your clothes or if you had someone else's. So make your luggage look really fun, unique, and pretty. You can get luggage straps on Amazon. I've got a pretty cool one that has different passport stamp styles from around the world. I really like it. I haven't seen anyone else with it. That could save your life or your clothes. Number 10 is going to be to bring sanitary wipes with you on the plane. If you are not aware, the tray table is actually the dirtiest thing on the plane. One study actually found up to 2,000 colony-creating bacteria per 1 square inch of the tray tables. And if you compare that to a cell phone where it was like 27 to 30 per square inch, that is a massive, massive difference. Like, the tray tables are dirtier than the bathrooms. Bring a wipe with you, clean off your tray table so that you can just have a little bit of peace of mind. You can even do your seat if that makes you feel good too. But that's just so you can have like a little bit of a cleaner area, because I know that the flight crew is doing their best to clean things up, but they just can't get to everything. The turnaround times on flights can be as little as 30 minutes. Wipe down your tray table just to have, you know, clean and kill that extra bacteria. But people do all kinds of nasty stuff on planes, and it's just like, I don't know why people turn into children on planes, but they do. So sanitary wipes. Number 10 is going to be to keep your passport easily accessible. And honestly, I would just bring your passport in general, even if you're going on a domestic flight. Americans, I'm primarily looking at you. So specifically in the United States, Americans, you're aware, or you should be aware, that they are now doing the real IDs, which are the ones that are going to be accepted on domestic flights, but there's variations of state IDs that are not accepted. And to be frank, a passport is just going to be generally accepted. So if you have a passport, which I would highly recommend getting and apply for, like now, if you're going anywhere, because the State Department is so backed up. Just take your passport, even on domestic flights. It's gonna be just so much easier, and they cannot deny that document. But make sure it's available, because you need it to check in, you need it for TSA, you need to get on the plane, especially if you have an international flight. Just make sure it's somewhere that you can easily grab, but also somewhere that someone else can't easily grab, because thieves are everywhere, and losing your passport would be awful. Just terrible. Protect your documents, have it easily accessible for you, and should be great. Things should go smoothly. Number 12 is going to be, if you are going somewhere internationally, make sure that you have copies of all of your visas, documentation, everything you need printed in a folder with you on your carry-on. You want to make sure you have copies of those documents with you at all times throughout the transportation process. I would also recommend having digital copies on your phone so that you have backups. A lot of countries really like paper versions, so that's why I think it would be best. And again, just because of a technological failure, then you have those things available to you. Even if your visa is digitally attached somewhere to your passport, it's still a good idea to have a paper copy because sometimes they just ask for it. So just make sure you have that with you. And there are definitely plenty of times, especially during the past couple of years, 2020 to 2022-ish, when you need a lot more extra documentation going through customs. Sometimes they'd ask for my paperwork, sometimes they wouldn't. And you know what? It's better that I had it and not needed it than needed it and not had it. The last thing I want to do is be denied entry at a border because I didn't print something off. Make sure you have that. And I recommend the folder just because it keeps everything nice and clean and just organized and neat and just stress-free. We're going for stress-free. Number 13 is going to be to make sure that you keep all of your full-size liquids in your checked bag, not only because TSA literally would not let you have anything beyond 3 ounces in your carry-on, but then make sure you also put them in a Ziploc or some sort of sealed plastic bag or container because last time I checked, the luggage compartment of the airplane, I don't believe is pressurized. I'll double check that, but things explode. It just happens. I have had things pop open on me, and you do not want your shampoo all over that really cute dress or thing that you bought on your trip just to be now covered in something. Plus, baggage handlers are just really rough. They don't care about your stuff. They really don't. Preventing the mess. Just easier. Throw it in a plastic bag, you'll be good. Number 14 is going to be if you are on a long haul flight, and I would say this is probably going to be anything like maybe over 6 hours. The biggest thing I would say is make sure you get up and walk around. Even if you can only do it for like 2 minutes before you sit down, get up and walk around. But you want to make sure you're wearing, why did the thing escape my brain? Pressure socks, compression socks. You want to wear compression socks. So compression socks, I actually used to work in a hospital, so I have a lot of experience of dealing with this, with putting these on actual people and like patients and things like that. Compression socks help with deep vein thrombosis, which you do not want. Blood clots would be literally awful, and at a high elevation, things happen. You know, you're not walking for very long periods of time, you're like 30,000 feet in the air, and bad things happen. You know, you just gotta take these things in consideration. Wear your compression socks and your legs will be very grateful you did when you get back on the ground, especially after something like 11, 12, 13, 14, 20 hours. Do they have 20-hour flights? I've never been on one that long. I think my longest flight ever was 13 hours. Compression socks will save your life. It'll also help prevent inflammation in your legs, which I have experienced. It's not fun. It takes about 24 hours to go away. I think this is number 15. Bring a sweatshirt. So I understand that people dress all kinds of different ways, and sometimes we dress in the climate that we're in or where we're going. But you should bring a sweatshirt, honestly. Even if it's nice and hot outside, it's cold in the sky. It gets cold. And beyond a sweatshirt, I wouldn't wear shorts either. I'd probably wear joggers, and I would wear closed-toed shoes. I have actually worn flip-flops on an airplane, and I regretted it terribly. My feet were so cold. Dress appropriately for the airplane. You can take something off, but you're gonna be really upset if you don't have something to put on because you're really cold. So it's cold up there, and even if it's 90 degrees Fahrenheit on the ground, have your sweatshirt anyway, throw it in your bag, make sure you've got it so that when you're up there, you're solid, you're good, you won't be freezing. Yeah, oh, my battery's about to die. Number 16 is going to be to have an extra set of clothes and underwear in your carry-on. I actually made a short about this. I can like link it above. Basically, I lost my luggage twice on the same trip, and I had to buy clothes, and it was just not good. And especially like after a really long flight, you may want to change, and having just like a clean set of undies and clothes to change into after a really long flight can just make you feel so refreshed, even if you haven't had a chance to shower yet. And it just like protects you so that you have a change of fresh clothes to be in. Always make sure you have fresh clothes and undies in your carry-on bag just in case of any emergencies, or if you just want that nice fresh change after you get off the airplane. And number 17, I feel this is one that's like so looked over and people just don't think about it for some reason. Please have a pen with you. So you can just like imagine you're sitting there, they're passing out the customs forms. The flight attendants don't usually have pens to pass out to everyone. So just make sure you have at least one, if not 2 to 3 pens in your bag with you so that you can fill out any types of potential forms that are needed while you're on the airplane. It would really stink if, you know, you can't fill out the forms if you literally just don't have a basic writing utensil. And make sure it's a pen, not a pencil. These are my tips and tricks that I have been able to gather after being to over 23 countries and gosh knows how many flights. I'm sure some of them you've heard of before, but maybe some of them you haven't. Hopefully this was helpful, makes your next airport experience less stressful. Happy travels, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!
Slow down, hold on tight now. It's okay to meet me at the front line. I've got cold feet.